Hello everyone, welcome to the Fluidist Programmer, where code and music meet creativity. And today, I'm going to show you how can you build a recipe finder app. So if you are hungry and you don't know what to cook on your kitchen, this is like the handy app that you need, so in this way you can learn new recipes. If you like the video and you want to see more tutorials like this, don't forget that you can hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. Also, if you have any questions, please don't forget that you can make a post on the comment section and I will be more than happy to help you. Before we start into the coding session, I'm going to show you a light demo of how the app looks like, so in this way you are going to know what you are going to be building with me. The app that we are going to be building today is a recipe finder app. So basically, if you are hungry and you don't know what to cook in your house, this application could help you a lot because you can find a lot of recipes with the ingredients that you have available on your house. And what we have here is the heading, as you see here, recipe finder app. Then we have a search bar here where we will be looking for a recipe, and then the button of search. So for example, if I want to look for recipes that have the ingredient of chicken, let's put chicken here, and then we can click on search or type enter. And as you see, we'll be showing a loader over there at the time of fetching for the recipes that has a chicken. And as you see here, you will get like a result with different matches about different recipes where the chicken is included. So for example, you see we have like different cars, all these cars, when I hover with the cursor, you see that they have like some kind of escalation, and the image escalates a little bit, and it has some beautiful transition, so you see that the movement is completely smooth. If I click in one of the recipes, this will be opening a modal, as you see here, where it will be showing more details about the recipe that we want to see. So as you see, we have the name of the recipe here. Then we have the image of the recipe that we have previously on the card. And then we have here the different instructions that we need to follow in order to complete the recipe. Each step is divided on different boxes, as you see here, and we have also some box shadow and transition, as well as some elevation with transfer. So as you see, it looks like really beautiful because we are using this property of CSS of transition. So in this way, we can make these movements really smooth, and they don't feel like they are all of the sudden and they are not that strong. So and for the last, if you want to close the model, you just click here on the cross sign, and that will be closing the model. So this is all the app. Hope that you like it, because we are about to start on the coding session. Let's proceed to create the folder of the project where we are going to be working. So as you know, I always create the folders on the desktop. In this case, I create a folder that is called Recipe Finder Application. Once you have it created, then we are going to be opening the code editor of our choice, in my case Visual Studio Code, and also the browser of your choice too. So I will be using Google Chrome as always on the sessions. Let's proceed right now to create the three necessary files that we need. The first one is going to be index.html. The second one is going to be styles.css. And the third one is going to be script.js. Good. Let's proceed right now to the index.html and use the exclamation mark, and then tap on it to use the emmet abbreviation to generate the .type structure. Good, we have it here. Let me just spank this here to have more space. And then what we are going to start is by changing the title. The title here is going to be let's put recipe finder app. Oh yeah, so also we need to make a right click on the index.html and then open with live server to see the changes in real time on the browser. As you see, we have it now. Another thing that we need to do right now is that we are going to be using the Roboto Mono font family, as we did on a previous video. So all you guys need to do is go to Google, type for the Roboto Mono, Google Fonts, go to the first link, and then we are going to click on this button that says get font. Then here on the get font, we are going to go to the get embedded code. Let's scroll down. As you see here, we want the code that it says embed code in the head of your HTML. So we are embedding this code on the head tag in our HTML. So let's click on the option of copy code here, and then we are going to put this here below the title. Good. So now we need, in this case, we need to reference the style sheet, or in this case, the styles.css. So let's open a link tag here, and then for the href, let's use styles.css. Also, let's change our tab here, so in that way we can see on real time here on the browser. Now let's go to the body tag, and then here on the body tag we are going to open an h1 tag with the same name, recipe finder a. So this is the first element that we have on the body that we see here. Then we want to declare an input that is going to be all search input, and we want to set an ID of search input in camel case. We want a placeholder of search for a recipe, and then 3 dots. Good. And we want autocomplete off. So this property here is up to you if you want to put it or not. So all this means is that if you previously type certain information on the input, it will be showing you that those matches when you are re-entering again new values. So in my case, since I don't want it, that's why I'm setting the property of autocomplete off. Then we want to declare a button. This button is going to have a class of search button, camel case 2, and we want to, in this case, trigger an action on click, and we want the function is going to be called getRecipes, and the name is going to be search. Good, as you see there. After this, we want a div. Then the div is going to have a class of results. So in this div of results, we are going to be injecting throughout JavaScript the results that we are going to be getting from our API. We want also to set an ID of results. Good. And now we want to set some other tags for the model. So let's open another div here. We want an ID of recipe model. We want a class of model. Good. Then we want to open another div here with class of model content. Good. Inside of this model, we are going to declare an span tag, and this span tag is going to have a class of close. So this will be the cross sign that we use to close in the model that we saw on the light demo. On click, and we want to set a function that is going to be called close model. Good. And I have here the sign that we are going to be using. So and this is the equivalent of X. Oh. Then let's open a heading, in this case H2, and we wanted to have the ID of model title. Good. After this, we want to declare an image. We want the image to have a class of model image. We want an ID of model image 2. The source is going to be empty because we are going to be populating this data throughout JavaScript. For the R is the recipe image, and basically what this does is that If the image is not loaded, it will be showing a little text that says recipe image. This is for accessibility purposes and is for best practices when you are manipulating the UI. So as you see here, for example, since we are not setting any address where the image can be fetched, we are getting the recipe image alt that we declare here. So it's for identification. And then we want to declare an unordered list. And this unordered list is going to have an ID. The ID is going to be modal instructions. Good. And after we close both divs, before closing the body, you know that we need to put the script file in this case, and the source is going to be script.js. So this is all the part of the HTML. Now we are going to proceed of the styles.css to assign all the appearance that we want in order to make this project better. Let's start by giving some styles to the body tag. So the body, let's open it, and we want a font family of, in this case, the new font that we just imported, Roboto Mono. In the case that we don't have it, let's go to Arial or sans serif. As you know, these are pre-installed fonts that we have available on our system. Then let's assign a text align of center. We want a padding of 20 pixels. And we want a background of number F9, F9, F9. So it's some kind of light gray. Then for the input, we want to have a padding of 10 pixels. Good. And we want a width of 250 pixels. Now let's assign certain classes for the certain styles for the search button that we have next to the input. And we want a color for the font of FFF. Oh, yeah, sorry. We want a color of number 000, so we are referencing to a black variation. We want a border of none. Good. We want a background color of number DDD, some kind of gray. We want some padding. Then the padding, we want top and bottom to be 10 pixels, and then 15 pixels of left and right. Good. We want a margin left of 10 pixels. We want a cursor pointer, and then we are going to make a transition. We want a transition on the background color to be 0.2 seconds ease, and also we want a transition of 0.2 seconds of ease on the color. So what this means is that if we change suddenly the background color and the color of the font of the color of the button, these two properties are going to have a transition of 0.2 seconds. So in this way, the change is not abrupt. So now let's assign for the search button in the status of hover, when we are placing the cursor over the button, we want to have a color of number FFF. In this case, it's a Y. And then we want a background color of blue violet. So as you see now, if I hover over the button, you see we have a transition on the background color as well as on the font color, that it changes to white. Good. So now let's give some styles to the results div that we have here, where we are going to be showing all the matches, you see, of the recipes that we want to fetch. Here, let's put a display flex to use flexbox container. Then let's use flex wrap to grab. This means that if the space of the container gets, in this case, smaller, it will be taking the available space that it has, in this case, available. Yeah. So if by some reason the resolution of your browser, in this case, right now we are testing the application on desktop resolution, but if by some choice you want to test it on your phone, in this case, the mobile resolution is going to be smaller. So that means that the elements, in this case, the recipes, are going to take the available space that you have on the phone. You will see later, and I will be showing you when we reach out to that part. Here, after the flex wrap, we are going to use justify content to center also the elements, and margin top of 20 pixels. Good. Now let's proceed to the card. These are elements that we are going to be injecting throughout with JavaScript. So let's assign a width of 200 pixels. Then we want a margin of 10 pixels. We want a border of 1 pixel solid, and then number DDD. Good. We want a border radius of 8 pixels. We want an overflow hidden. So this means that if there is like if there is an element that is taking more than the space of the container and is going, in this case, outside of the container, you won't be able to see that element outside of it, because we are limiting the area. Then let's create a background of white. Let's put a cursor pointer too on the car, and then we want a transition on, oh yeah, we forgot the semicolon here. We want a transition of on transform here to be 0.2 seconds. Good. The car on hover, we want to transform and we want to scale. This means that we are going to escalate bigger the element to be 1.05. Good. We want for the car, the image that is inside of the car, to be with a width of 100%. Then we want for the car an H3. The font size is going to be 16 pixels, and the padding 10 pixels. Good. Now we are going to assign styles for the model. So let's start with the model class here that we have here, this one. And for the model, we want display none. So this means that at the beginning, we don't want to see the model on the UI. We want a position to be fixed. This means that the model is going to be at the top of everything. It's going to have a position that is fixed, that if I move, if I scroll down or I scroll up on the browser, you will see that the model will keep its position on the center. You will see. Then let's use as c-index. These are like new properties of 1000. So this means that we want the model to be appearing at the completely front. So it will be taking as a layers. We are using like the stack concept where the number, in this case, the element that has the highest number on the c-index is the one that is going to be showing at the front, while the one that has the less number is the one that is going to be showing at the back. By default, all elements have a c-index of 0, but if we put them in a value that is greater than that, that means that we want that value to take its precedence be showing at the front, no matter if the other elements are in the back. So after this, let's proceed with putting a left property of 0. We want a top to be 0, 2. Good. We want a width of 100%. We want a height of 100%. Good. We want a background with an RGBA that I already have it available, so I'm just going to copy and paste. As you know, you can see all these apps you can see on my repositories, on my GitHub repositories that I have on the description of the video. Let's assign a justified content of center and align items of center. Good. So now let's proceed with the model image. Let's put the brackets there. Yeah, I want a width of 100%. I want a border radius to be 8 pixels. Good. Now I want to declare some styles for the model content, the content that is inside of the model. Let's put a background of white, a padding of 20 pixels, a max width of 600 pixels, a width of 90% of the container. We want a border radius to be 8 pixels. We want a text align to be at the left. We want overflow Y to be auto, and the max K to be 80 viewport height. So we want to take an 80% of the viewport height. Then we are going to access the model instructions by its ID. So model instructions, as we have here, model instructions. Oh, okay, let's open the brackets. And for the model instructions, we have a list style type to be none. So this is for getting rid of the bullet points that are automatically generated by the unordered list. We don't want them, so that's why we're using the list style type none. And then we want a padding of 0. Good. And now for the li that we have inside of the model instructions, then we want the li. We want a line height of 25 pixels. We want a cursor to be pointer. We want a margin of 20 pixels and 0. These li are the instructions that we have inside of the model, so that's why you are not able to see it right now on this part, because we are going to be getting all those elements when we open the model. By this time, the model is not on the UI. We need to trigger by opening the cards that we will see when we reach out to that part. So then let's assign a background color of number DDD. Good. Let's put a padding of 10 pixels, a border radius of 5 pixels. Good. We want a box shadow of 0, 2 pixels, 6 pixels, and then we want to use an RGBA that I already have prepared for you. Let's put it here. Good. And we want then also to use transition. We are going to use transition for several properties. The first one is going to be for transform, and we want 0.2 seconds with ease. Then we want for box shadow 2, box shadow, and we want for 0.2 seconds with ease as well. Then we want for the background color 0.2 seconds with is as well. And for the last, we want for the color 0.2 seconds is 2. Good. After this, let's proceed to use the modal instructions. Let's copy this because we want to be referencing also the LIs, but in this case on the hover state. Good. And for the hover, when we have the cursor over the instructions, we want the color to be number FFF. We want a background color of blue violet. Then we want a transform, and the transform is going to be translate on the y-axis, and we wanted to translate to -3 pixels. So this means that it will have an elevation to the top. It will be elevating -3 pixels. Then we want a box shadow of 0, 4 pixels, 12 pixels. Another RGBA that I already have here. Good. Let's assign now some styles for the close button that we are going to have inside of the model. We want flow to be right. So this means that the element is going to be floating on the right side of the container, in this case of the model. We want a font size of 20 pixels and a cursor of pointer. Good. And for the last, I didn't design this loader. This loader I found it on the internet, but I'm going to explain to you. So we want to declare a loader class here. The loader is going to have a width of 50 pixels, an aspect ratio of 1. We want a border radius to be 50%, so it's going to be the half of it. We want a border to be 8 pixels solid. We want a border color to be 0, 0, 0, and then number 0, 0, 0, 0. Good. And we want some animation property of L1, 1 second, and it's going to be infinite. So here we are using animation with keyframes in order to make the loader moving. So right now here we are going to declare a property that is called keyframes, and then we want to create the animation of L1, and this L1 is going to have a 2, and this 2 is going to have a transform, and we are going to rotate the element to 0.5 turn. And all this means is that the loader is going to be doing this. It's going to be moving like a circle on the right side. Okay, so this ends all the part of the styles.css, and let's proceed right now to the interaction that is going to be on the script.js. Now in the script.js, we are going to proceed to get the element of the search input. So let's declare a const variable of search input, and then we want to get it to by using document.getElementById, and we want to search for the ID of search input. Good. Now we are going to assign an event listener to the search input. Search input dot add event listener, and in this case we want the event of key down, so we are typing on the keyboard, and then we want to do something with it. We are going to be passing an event here. Good. And we are going to verify if the event is coming from the enter key. So if the event dot key is equal to enter, that means that we want to execute our function of get recipe that we are going to be declaring as a get recipes. Good. So now let's proceed to declare the function. In this case, we are going to have an asynchronous function because we are going to be calling a third-party API so to get the recipes. So let's put async and then function get recipes. Let's close it with brackets. Good. Now we want to declare a const variable that is going to be called query, and then document.getElementById, and we want to get also the search inputs, but we want to get the value from it. So we want to get the value from the text input to do something with it. If the value is not present, so if the query is not available, as I am setting here, if query, so if we use exclamation mark and then the const of query, that means that if the value is not present, then we want to return, and we want the code that is after this not to be executed because we don't have a value. So why are we going to be making the request to fetch a recipe that is looking for something that is empty? Good. So now let's proceed to create another const that is results div, and we are going to have document.getElementById, and we are going to be getting the results. This is the div that we declare here on the index.html. You have it here. So here we are going to be injecting the recipes that we get from the third-party API. Oh, also here is going to be results div to avoid the misspelling. Then results div, we want to have an inner HTML of, in this case, we want a div with this closing tag. Then we want to assign a class of loader. Good. So this is the loader that we created at the last on the styles.css. Good. And now we are going to use some properties that are called try and catch, and I'm about to show you what this means. So try and catch is for using asynchronous calls, and basically everything that we have inside of the try means that if we get the results and we are on the happy path, that means that there is not an error or nothing else. We are going to be executing this code. But if by some reason maybe there is an error that the data is not present, or the server is not working and the third API is not working by some reason, we are going to be entering to this catch. So in this way we can handle the error state, and we can display an error that maybe we are going to let the user know that the API is not working, or maybe another reason. So in this way we can get feedback, or we can give feedback for the user. So if he knows that the application is going to work fine, we are going to be executing the code inside of the try breaking points. And in the case that it's not working, it's going to be entering on the catch. So on the try here, let's proceed to create a variable that is going to be res. And then here we are going to await, because we are going to be calling an asynchronous call. Then we are going to use fetch that we used on previous videos. And here I have already a URL that we are going to use, that I'm just copy and paste here and explain to you what we are doing. So let me just copy and paste here. Yeah, let's remove the template strings from the URL here. Good. So basically what we are doing here is that we are going to be calling a third-party service that is called the MealDB. This is a free API, so we don't need any token or something as we did at the time of building the weather application. So this is a free API that doesn't need any kind of authentication, and that's why we are doing this way. And all we are doing is passing the value that we get here from the input to the query here. So when we call this URL and we pass the query, in this case, for example, like we did on the live demo, I put chicken here. That chicken value is going to be passed here throughout the query variable, and then we are going to be getting a result from it. Good. So once we execute this code, we want to format the data. So we want to declare another variable that is called const data, and then we want to await as well because it's an asynchronous call, and we want to apply rest.json. So in this case, we're formatting to JSON to be readable for JavaScript. So and then here we are going to assign an if the data.meals property is not present, then we are going to show something in the UI in the HTML. So we are going to be injecting something on the inner HTML of the results div. So inner HTML. We are going to use also backtips. We are going to be using a p tag. Let's put something like no recipes found. Try another search. Good. And then we are going to return. So this means that after this return, none of the code that is after this is going to be executed. We are going to be exceeding the function. Then if there is data, in this case, let's proceed with the other logic that we have here, and we have results div, and we want to set also the inner HTML. So in this way, we inject new HTML elements throughout the div. Let's put data.meals. We are going to be mapping throughout the data map, and then we want here for each meal we are going to do this. Let's put some backtips here. Let's open it. Good. And here, let's proceed. We are going to open a div and closing it. Good. We want the class of car. These are classes that we already declared on the styles.css. We want the onClick to be calling the method of showRecipe that we are going to be declaring later. And then for the showRecipe, we want to pass certain parameters. So we want to be passing, let's put $sign and then brackets because we are going to be referencing variables meal.id meal. Good. And then inside of this, we want to have an image. So let's put the image here, img. We want the source to be, let's use $sign as well with the brackets to reference a variable meal.str meal thumb. Good. And for the alt property, we want meal.str meal. Good. After this, we want to declare an h3 with the closing of h3, and let's put meal.str meal. Good. So let's give some tab here to put it in another level inside of the divs. And now after the map, we are going to join everything by empty strings. So basically this means that we are going to be grouping all the cars, all the matches that we get together, and then we are going to be showing it in the UI. So now let's go to the catch clause here. In the catch here, we want to declare an error. If there is an error, let's put the results div, and we want to set an inner HTML of, let's put it here, p tag. Let's open and close it. And error fetching recipes, please try again later. Good. And now we just finished the function of getRecipes. We are going to declare now the function of showRecipe. We are almost done of building, in this case, the file of the script.js. So let's declare another async function here. Async function showRecipe. We want to pass an ID. This is the option, the method that we are going to be using when we are clicking the cards and we want to open the model. So in this way, we'll be showing the detailed information of each recipe. So show recipe, and then here, let's call const res. Let's await for the call fetch, and here I also have another URL. I'm just going to copy and paste. Let me show you here. So we are doing something similar to the one here, but this one is a little bit different because in this case we want to look for a specific recipe. So once we have the ID of the recipe, then we are going to look for that recipe specifically, and it will be showing us details that are specifically for the recipe that we want. This is for opening the model. The other one, in this case, this one was for showing all the recipes related to that ingredient that we are looking for. I hope that that is clear. Then let's declare const data. Data is going to, we are going to await as well because we need to format to JSON, to res.json. Good. And then const meal. The meal, we are going to get the data.meals property. Since it is an array, we want to get the first index. Then we are going to create a variable that is const instructions formatted, and we want to do meal.str instructions dot split. So and we are going to split by in this case point. So what this means is all the, in this case all the APIs are coming, the instructions are coming separated, or in this case are coming all of them by one, and they are coming in different statements. But as you know, on each statement they are separated by points, right? So in this case I want to separate all the statements, all the instructions, so in this way I can show it one by one, step by step on a different box, and that's why we are in this case separating by point. So I'm going to place console logs on each call, so in this way you can see what's going on later. So I can show you the structure of the API. After this, we are going to declare a let li content because we want to inject the instructions to the model. Let's do some iterations. So instructions formatted dot for each, and for each instruction I want to do something. So instruction here, and if the instruction is not empty, then here I want to do an li content plus equal. This means that we are going to be adding a value in top of the previous value of the li content. So for example, let's say that the li content on the first iteration is empty, right? And then it comes the first recipe that is chicken. Okay, then on the first iteration we already have the chicken value, so that means that the li content is going to be chicken. But what happens if maybe on the second iteration we have another instruction that says prepare the chicken on a tray, for example? So then the li content is going to be chicken plus prepare the chicken on a tray. So it will be accumulating the data throughout the iterations. Okay, so now let's put some backtips here. Let's put some LIs here. We want the li to have a class of meal instructions. Good. And then we want to use some variables, so we need to use the money and the brackets. Let's put the instruction, so in this way we can show the instructor on each iteration. Good. And now we want to use document.getElementById. I want to get the modal instructions, and then modify its HTML, inner HTML, and we want it to be equal to li content. So in this way you will be able to see all the instructions on the modal instructions unordered list. Then we want to get in this case the text content of the modal title, so document, then we assign get element by id, and we want the modal title, we want the property of text content, and this is going to be equal to meal.str meal. We want then document.getElementById, and we want the modal image dot source, and we want meal.str meal thumb. Then we want document.getElementById. We want to get the recipe model, and we want to modify the display. So let's go to the style property, then display, and it's going to be flex. Good. And for the last, we want to declare the function of close model, function close model, and document.getElementById, and we want to get the recipe model. Then we want to access throughout the display CSS property. So let's go to the style.display, and we wanted to have display none. So this means that we don't want to see the model anymore. I'm going to put some console logs at the time of making the API call, so in this way you can see what is the structure. It's up to you if you want to put it as well. So I'm just doing this to show you what is the structure of how the data is coming from the third-party API of TheMealDB. So console.log, let's put data from showRecipe, and let's put here data. And let's do the same on the first function, that is getRecipes. After we get the data and we format to JSON, let's put some console.log, let's put data from getRecipes, and let's put data goods. So now by theory, we should be able to see the recipes that we are going to be getting for the ingredient that we want. So let's proceed to test the application. A small typo that I just found that is just minor is that if you go to index.html and you go to the button of search, hit on the on click, as you see, we are missing the C. If you didn't make the mistake, then you are good to go. So yeah, let's just fix this and let's just test right now the app. So right now, if I click on chicken, for example, by typing on the enter key, you'll see that we get matches for it. Let's try another one. So for example, let's put pork, but in this case, I'm going to click on the search button. If I click on the search button, you see it will be also making the call. As you see here, I am already open the console tab, and you see that I have the console log from the data from recipe. So if I open this and I go to meals, you see that we are going to be getting, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So but as you know, we are counting from 0 to infinite. So in this case, if we have 8 indexes, it will be from 0 to 7. So we have 7 recipes, and this is how the data looks like. So if right now I opened the one of these recipes, I will be opening the model. So let's see what's happening here. So instruction is not defined. So let's go to the script.json file on line 50a. If instruction. So yeah, here we have also smart typo. So let's fix this. As you see, I'm fixing with you on real time all these issues. So in this way, you know that this process is completely normal. So we are not like perfect human beings. So let's try again pork. Let's search on it. Nice. And then let's click on this. And as you see now, voila, it's working. So now we were able to open the model, and I triggered the function of showRecipe. So if I open now the showRecipe console that we have here on line 51, I open the meals property. This is how the format looks like. So it's basically kind of the same to the getRecipes, but now we are just fetching for a specific recipe with a specific ID. The ID of the meal in this case is this one, and we have the instructions, the str instructions. And as you see here, the str instructions are working by in this case commas as well as points. So what I'm doing here is that I'm separating them by points. So in this way you can see that they are separated. So on the step 1 we have the remove, the large, blah blah blah. As you see, all of these are steps that you need to follow if you want to complete this recipe. Another thing that we have here is the close button, and as well as the transition that we are using on the CSS for the elevation. In this case, the transfer, we want a transfer of in this case, moving to the y-axis of -3 pixels. So as you see, it's having this slight elevation, and then we are changing the background to be violet, as well as the font color is white. So that's why you see that it has this fancy design. And then if I want to close the model, I just go to the cross sign here and I just click on it, and you see that the model is completely closed. So this is all the application, guys. I hope that you have liked it. As you see, we went over some other topics that we have been using previously on other videos or apps, which is for consuming third-party APIs. This application was a little bit more complex because we started to make more API calls that we depend at the time of using a certain flow in the UI. And also, as you see, the code is starting to get a little bit bigger, because with the passing time that you learn how to build bigger applications, you will see that the complexity turns to be a little bit higher. But of course, that doesn't mean that it can be difficult to understand. If you are able to understand the previous lessons that we have been doing, you are going to be just fine, because this is like a progressive learning where we are then higher a little bit the learning curve, and you are going to be then learning new things. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video.